Trying to develop here is an open center vase or goblet shaped structure that's permanent. Okay, so you've chosen 3 branches that grew out of the stub back tree that you purchased. The next year you prune it back again, maybe a couple of feet off the ground to force even more branching, and then you may do that once more to force even more branching. So you end up with a tree with a permanent multi-branched open center framework of whatever height and breadth you choose. Now, in this particular case, the height is about 5.5 or 6 feet, and the width of this is probably about 8 feet or so. I actually recommend now having it even lower than this. So in other words, instead of 6 feet, I think 5 or even 4 feet is plenty high enough. Still the same basic thing, this open center multi-branch, but just have the structure even lower to the ground. Now, once you've established that, and you're going to spend the first, say, 3 or 4 years establishing that framework. Once you've done that, the pruning simply is every branch that had figs the previous summer, and remember you're pruning it in early March, every branch that had figs the previous summer, and all those branches will be 2-year-old branches, are going to get headed back to within 1 inch or a couple of centimeters of the permanent framework. So if you look here, you can see where I have stubbed back repeatedly. You see all these little stubs all over the place here?
Mm-hmm. They bore fruit before?
Yes, that's right. And you see the response in all cases, branches grow out from where I've stubbed it back. Okay, so now, bearing in mind with what I just told you, all the 2-year-old branches are going to get pruned back. And you can tell the 2-year-old branches are going to be bigger, and the bark is going to be this brownish gray color. So this is a 2-year-old branch right here. So it's going to get pruned back right there. Okay, this is 2-year-old as well. In fact, all 3 of these are 2-year-old. So they're all going to get pruned back to within a couple of centimeters of this permanent framework. The response of the tree will be to throw out 1-year-old shoots for the following year's crop. In the meantime, all the 1-year-old shoots, and those are the green ones, like this is a 1-year-old shoot, this is 1-year-old, that's 1-year-old, those will be kept to bear the current year's crop. Okay? Now, because most of these heading cuts that you've made to push it back to within a couple of centimeters of the permanent framework, most of them will actually push out 2 or 3 shoots, which are actually too many. The ideal thing is just a 1-for-1 replacement. So you are also going to have to prune out some of the 1-year-old shoots too, because it will just be too crowded otherwise. So you'll purposely choose the biggest, longest 1-year-old shoots, because the bigger and the longer it is, the more fruit there's going to be on it. Because the figs, the first crop figs, the Breva figs, overwinter as what are called embryo figs, which are tiny little knobs at the base of the leaves. And that's going to be your crop for the following year. So the longer the shoot, the more figs there's going to be. The more leaves, the more figs on average. You're going to get between 5 and 15 figs on each tree. This tree produced multi-hundred figs every year, guaranteed.
How old is this tree?
It's about 20 years old. Yeah. So it would have reached this size probably in about 5 or 6 years, you know, the structure of it.
Right.
Within 5 or 6 years, and it's been held like this for the last 15 years.
And it bears fruit on the second.
It bears fruit on
2-year-old.
the branches. Yeah, by the time, they'll be 2 years old, exactly.
Yeah.
It bears on the branches that grew the previous summer.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Now, any questions about figs?
But they don't store very well because they're what do you do with all of yours?
Yeah. Well, as much as you can.
Dehydrator, that's a good way to go.
Yes, a dehydrator is a good way to go. They also make a nice jam as well. But yeah, eat as many fresh. That's the best way to eat them, is fresh. And when you can't handle them anymore, then you can start drying them and making jam. Yeah.
Did you lose any? Did any damage occur when we had that cold spell? Not this last winter, but the winter before? When we did
No, that's a good question.